The most dangerous prison is not the one with walls and chains. It is the one where the prisoner smiles, thanks his captor, and genuinely believes he is free. Right now, as you are listening to this, there is a very high chance that someone in your life is controlling you, not with force, not with threats, but with something far more effective, with your own emotions. And by the end of this, you will know exactly who they are. Because the Stoics identified these patterns 2,000 years ago. And what they taught was not just how to recognize the cage, but how to walk out of it while the manipulator watches, powerless to stop you. 2,000 years ago, in the heart of Rome, a slave named Epictetus stood before his master, Epaphroditus. Now, Epaphroditus was not just any man. He was a secretary to Emperor Nero, one of the most powerful bureaucrats in the known world. He owned Epictetus the way you own a chair. He could sell him, beat him, kill him on a bad afternoon and face no consequence. And one day, Epaphroditus did exactly what men like him do when they feel powerless in their own lives. He turned to someone weaker. He began twisting Epictetus's leg, slowly, deliberately, not out of anger, but out of boredom, out of the quiet pleasure that comes from knowing another human being cannot stop you. Epictetus looked at him and said, calmly, "You are going to break it." Epaphroditus kept twisting. The leg broke. And Epictetus, without raising his voice, without tears, without begging, said, "Did I not tell you that you would break it?" That is the moment most people misunderstand. They hear this story and think Epictetus was superhuman, that he felt no pain, that Stoicism is about becoming a stone. No. Epictetus felt every fracture. What he refused to feel was the thing his master actually wanted from him: submission, psychological surrender, the handing over of his inner world to a man who had already taken his outer one. This is the distinction that will change your life if you let it. Because here is what the manipulators in your life understand instinctively. Even if they have never read a single page of philosophy, they cannot control your actions until they first control your emotions. Every manipulation technique, every single one, is designed to hijack how you feel, so that you will do what they want while believing it was your own idea. Epictetus later wrote the line that would become the foundation of Stoic psychology in his Discourses. Book 1. Chapter 1, he stated, "Ta if hemen, ta duke if hemen." Some things are within our power, and some things are not. This is not a motivational quote to put on a coffee mug. This is a diagnostic tool, a lie detector for your own life. Because when someone is controlling you, they are doing one specific thing. They are making you believe that things within your power, your judgments, your emotions, your decisions are actually in their hands. They are stealing what belongs to you and convincing you that you never owned it in the first place. Tonight, we are going to examine 6 signs, 6 precise, unmistakable patterns that reveal when this is happening to you. Not in theory, not in abstraction, in the specific, daily, practical texture of your actual life. And for each sign, I will give you the exact Stoic response that dismantles the manipulation at its root. Some of what I'm about to say will be uncomfortable, because the hardest part of recognizing control is admitting that you allowed it. Not because you are weak, but because the people who control us are almost never strangers. They are the people we love, the people we trust. The people whose approval we have been chasing so long that we forgot we ever had a choice. Let us begin. Sign number 1. They make you doubt your own memory. You had a conversation. You remember what was said. You remember the tone. You remember how it made you feel. And then, when you bring it up calmly, clearly, with no hostility, they look at you as if you have lost your mind. I never said that. You are imagining things. That is not what happened at all. Why do you always twist everything? And here is the part that matters. You were there. You heard it with your own ears. You felt it in your own chest. But something about the absolute certainty in their denial makes a small crack in your confidence. Not a big one. Just enough to make you pause. Just enough to make you think, maybe I am remembering it wrong. Maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I misunderstood. That crack is the entire strategy. Modern psychology calls this gaslighting, but the Stoics identified the mechanism long before that word existed. Marcus Aurelius, in Book 4 of his Meditations, wrote what I consider one of the most underappreciated lines in ancient philosophy. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Read that again. He did not say, in his own house. He did not say, in his own relationships. He said, in his own soul. Because Marcus, who ruled an empire and dealt with liars, traitors, and manipulators every single day, understood that your inner perception is the last fortress. It is the one thing no one can take from you unless you open the gate yourself. And that is exactly what happens when you accept someone else's version of events over your own lived experience. You are not being polite. You are not being reasonable. You are handing them the keys to your inner fortress and asking them to redecorate. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman, let us call her Helena, because I will not use real names. Helena was married to a man who, by all external appearances, was a good husband. He worked. He provided. He never raised his hand. But every time Helena tried to express how she felt about something he had said, the same ritual played out. I did not say it like that. You are too sensitive. Why do you always make everything about you? After 15 years of this, Helena went to see a counselor. And do you know what she said in her very first session? She said, I do not trust my own memory anymore. I think something might be wrong with my brain. Nothing was wrong with her brain. Everything was wrong with her marriage. The Stoic way out is not complicated, but it requires a kind of courage that most people avoid. It is this: when you know what happened, do not negotiate with someone who is trying to edit your reality. You do not need to argue. You do not need to prove it. You do not need them to agree. You say once, clearly, without emotion, I remember what happened. You are free to remember it differently, but I will not pretend that I do not know what I know. And then you stop. No explanation, no defense, no second attempt. Because the moment you start defending your own memory against someone who was there and knows exactly what they said, you have already lost. You have accepted the premise that your reality requires their approval to be valid. It does not. Epictetus, who understood power dynamics better than any free man ever could, taught his students, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When someone denies your reality, your reaction is the only thing they are trying to control. If you react with doubt, they win. If you react with rage, they win. because now you are the emotional one, and they are the calm, rational one. If you react with quiet, immovable certainty, they have nowhere to go. You have removed yourself from the game without flipping the board. Sign number 2. They slowly, carefully, methodically separate you from the people who see them clearly. This one is almost invisible while it is happening. It does not start with, "I forbid you from seeing your friends." That would be too obvious. Even the controller knows that a direct order creates resistance. Instead, it starts with commentary. "Your sister always has something negative to say about us. I do not think your friend really cares about you the way you think. Have you noticed how your mother always tries to come between us?" Each comment, by itself, seems reasonable, maybe even caring. They are just looking out for you, right? They just want to protect the relationship. They just want you to see what you are too close to see. But here is the pattern: the people they have a problem with are always the people who have told you, at some point, that something feels off. The friend who said, "You seem different lately." The brother who said, "I do not like how they talk to you." The colleague who asked, "Are you okay?" The controller does not need to build a wall around you. They just need to plant enough doubt about everyone on the other side of that wall until you stop climbing over it yourself. Seneca understood this with the precision of a surgeon. In his Epistulae Morales, Letter 7, he wrote about the power of social environment. "Dum inter homines sumus, colamus humanitatem." As long as we are among human beings, let us be humane. But he also warned in the same collection, Letter 19, "Recede into ips quantum potes." Withdraw into yourself as much as possible. Now, most people read this as generic, introvert advice. It is not. Seneca was writing to his friend Lucilius, who was surrounded by people trying to influence his decisions for their own benefit. Seneca's advice was not, "Be alone." It was, "Learn to distinguish between the people who expand your vision and the people who narrow it." A person who loves you will sometimes say things that are hard to hear. A person who controls you will make sure you never hear them. The Stoic way out: look at your social circle right now. Not as it was 5 years ago, as it is today. Ask yourself one question: who have I stopped talking to? And whose idea was that really? If the answer is, "I chose to distance myself because the relationship was genuinely unhealthy," that is growth. If the answer is, "Someone I am close to made me feel guilty or suspicious about them until I pulled away," that is isolation disguised as protection. And if you cannot tell the difference, that itself is a sign. Because a free mind can always trace its own decisions back to its own reasoning. A controlled mind traces its decisions back to someone else's emotions. Sign number 3. And this is the one that will make some of you deeply uncomfortable, because it challenges something we have been taught since childhood. They use kindness as a weapon. I know. We are told that kindness is always good, that generosity is always pure, that if someone does something nice for you, the correct response is gratitude, and anything else makes you ungrateful. But here is what the Stoics understood that modern self-help refuses to say out loud. Not all gifts are free. Some gifts are invoices that have not been presented yet. You know this person. They do everything for you without being asked. They sacrifice their time, their energy, their comfort. They make sure you know about it. Not loudly, not with demands, just with enough reminders that the ledger is always visible. After everything I have done for you, I gave up so much for this family. No one appreciates what I do around here. And the moment you make a decision they do not like, the moment you say no, the moment you choose yourself, the moment you draw a boundary, the full weight of that invisible ledger comes crashing down on you. How could you do this to me after everything? This is not kindness. This is a transaction disguised as love. And it is one of the most effective control mechanisms in human history, because it weaponizes your own decency against you. You are not a bad person for setting a boundary, but they will make you feel like one. And because you are a good person, because you genuinely care about fairness and reciprocity, you fold. You abandon your own need to honor theirs. Again. Seneca, in De Beneficis, his masterwork on the philosophy of giving and receiving, wrote something that could have been written this morning. In iuriam qui facturus est, iam fecit. He who is about to do you a wrong has already done it. But more precisely for our topic, he also wrote a true gift expects nothing. The moment a gift comes with conditions spoken or unspoken, it ceases to be a gift. It becomes a chain, a beautiful, gold-plated chain, but a chain nonetheless. The Stoic way out is perhaps the most difficult in tonight's list, because it requires you to disappoint someone who has positioned themselves as your greatest benefactor. You must say to yourself first, and then to them, if necessary, I am grateful for what you have given, but gratitude does not mean obedience, and a gift that requires me to surrender my judgment is not a gift I can afford to keep. You will be called ungrateful. You will be called selfish. You will be told that you have changed, that you are not the person they thought you were. Good, because the person they thought you were was the person they built, the one who never said no. And that person was never really you. That person was a role you played to keep the peace. The Stoics would call that role a prison sentence you imposed on yourself. Sign number 4. They make their emotional state your job. You made me angry. You ruined my day. If you had not said that, I would not have reacted that way. Look what you made me do. Listen to the structure of those sentences. In every single one, the subject, the person acting, feeling, choosing has been erased. They are angry, but it is your fault. They are sad, but you caused it. They lost control, but you pushed them to it. This is not communication. This is a transfer of ownership. They are taking their own emotional response, something that belongs entirely to them, something only they can regulate, and placing it in your hands like a fragile object, saying, "Here, carry this," and if you drop it, you are a terrible person. And because you care about them, because you are the kind of person who listens to this at night, the kind of person who reads about Stoicism and self-improvement and inner peace, you pick it up every time. You adjust your behavior. You walk on eggshells. You rehearse conversations in your head before you have them, trying to predict which words will set them off. That rehearsal is the clearest evidence that you are being controlled. Free people do not rehearse honesty. Epictetus addressed this directly in the Enchiridion, chapter 5. He wrote what may be the most revolutionary sentence in the history of psychology: "Tarase tos anthropus auta pragmata, alata periton pragmaton dogmata." It is not things that disturb people, but their judgments about things. This means, and I need you to hear this clearly, no one can make another person angry. Anger is a judgment. It is an internal event. When someone says, "You made me angry," they are making a philosophical claim that is factually false. You did a thing. They judged that thing. Their judgment produced their anger. 3 separate steps, and they own all 3. I am not saying people should not feel angry. Emotions are human. What I am saying is that the moment someone holds you responsible for their inner world, the moment your worth as a human being depends on whether they are having a good day, you are no longer in a relationship. You are in a hostage negotiation where the hostage and the negotiator are the same person. The Stoic way out, you must learn one sentence and repeat it until it becomes reflex. Not to them, to yourself. Their emotions belong to them. My emotions belong to me. I am not the curator of another person's inner world. Marcus Aurelius, who spent decades surrounded by people trying to make him responsible for their failures, their ambitions, their insecurities, their fears. Marcus wrote in Meditations, Book 7, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it." He was not writing about other people's anger. He was writing about his own. He was reminding himself that every time he accepted someone else's emotional burden as his own, he doubled the weight without solving the problem. The next time someone says, "You made me feel this way," try replacing one word in your mind. Replace made with want, because that is what is actually happening. They do not believe you caused their feeling. They want you to believe it because the moment you do, they never have to take responsibility for themselves again, and you become a permanent employee in the business of managing their inner life, with no salary, no days off, and no resignation letter they will accept. Sign number 5. They punish you with silence. Not all silence is manipulation. Sometimes people need space. Sometimes they need time to process, to cool down, to find the right words. That kind of silence says, "I need a moment, and then I will come back." The silence I am talking about is different. It does not say, "I need time." It says, "I am going to disappear from your emotional world until you come crawling back to fix something that you may not have even broken." There is no explanation, no timeline, no "I need space until Thursday." Just absence, cold, heavy, suffocating absence, and you are left sitting in it, running through every conversation, every word, every facial expression, trying to figure out what you did wrong. That search, that desperate archaeology of your own behavior is the punishment. They do not need to yell at you. They do not need to criticize you. They just need to vanish. And your own anxiety does the rest. You become your own interrogator, your own judge, your own executioner. They sit back and wait for the verdict, which is always the same. You find yourself guilty. You apologize for something you may not have done, and the silence lifts. Until next time. This is control at its most elegant. The controller does not even have to be present to control you. They have outsourced the work to your own mind. Marcus Aurelius wrestled with this exact dynamic not in his marriage, but in his court. He was surrounded by advisors, generals, and senators who would withdraw their support, go silent whenever Marcus made a decision they did not like. The message was always the same: Reverse your decision, or we will withhold our loyalty. And Marcus, in Book 6 of his Meditations, wrote his counter, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy," but more relevant to our discussion. He also wrote in Book 9, "To feel affection for people even when they make mistakes is uniquely human. It happens when you realize they are your relatives, that they act out of ignorance, against their will, and that in a short time, you will both be dead." Notice Marcus did not say, tolerate their behavior. He said, feel affection for them, which is an internal act while simultaneously maintaining complete clarity about what they are doing. You can love someone and still refuse to be controlled by their silence. Those two things are not in conflict. The Stoic way out: do not chase the silence. Do not send the fifth text message. Do not show up with an apology you have not yet figured out the reason for. Instead, sit in the silence with them, not as punishment, as practice. Use the time they have given you, involuntarily, to do exactly what Epictetus taught. Examine what is within your power and what is not. Their decision to withdraw is not within your power. Your decision to remain standing while they do it, that is. When they return, and they will, because silent treatment only works if you break. First, do not pretend it did not happen. Say, I noticed you withdrew. If something is wrong, I am here to talk about it. But I will not guess. And I will not apologize for something I do not understand. That sentence will feel like the hardest thing you have ever said. It is also the beginning of your freedom. Sign number 6. The final sign, and, in many ways, the most devastating. They have made you believe that protecting yourself is a form of cruelty. You have thought about leaving, whether leaving means ending a relationship, quitting a job, distancing yourself from a family member, or simply saying, I will not accept this anymore. You have thought about it, maybe for months, maybe for years. And every time you get close to the edge, the same voice plays in your head. Sometimes it is their voice. Sometimes, after enough repetition, it sounds like your own. After everything we have been through, you are just going to give up. That is not who you are. If you leave, you will destroy this family. No one will ever love you the way I do. You are being selfish. That last one, you are being selfish. That is the kill shot. Because you, the kind of person who worries about being selfish, are precisely the kind of person who is most vulnerable to this accusation. Truly selfish people do not lose sleep over being called selfish. They do not even hear it. But you hear it. It echoes. It becomes the judge and jury that keeps you in a situation your body has been trying to leave for years. Here is what I need you to understand tonight. And I will say it as clearly as I know how removing yourself from a situation that is destroying your inner peace is not selfish. It is the most fundamental act of self-governance that a human being can perform. It is, in fact, the first principle of Stoicism itself. Epictetus, the man who endured a broken leg from his own master and did not flinch, that same man taught his students something that controllers do not want you to hear. No man is free who is not master of himself. Odes eleutheros esten, hostis me hautu krate. Read it again. No man is free who is not master of himself, not master of his circumstances, not master of other people's opinions, master of himself, his own choices, his own boundaries, his own departure from rooms that no longer serve his growth. Let me tell you one more story, and this one is historical. Cato the Younger, one of the most stubborn, principled, uncompromising Stoics who ever lived, spent decades fighting for the Roman Republic. He fought corruption, he fought Caesar, he fought the slow erosion of everything he believed in. And when it became clear that the Republic was lost, that Caesar had won, that staying meant surrendering everything he stood for, Cato made a choice. Now, I am not telling you about the end of Cato's life to glorify his final decision. That decision was extreme, and it belonged to a specific historical context that is nothing like yours. What I am telling you is this: Cato understood something that most of us spend our entire lives avoiding. He understood that there are situations where staying is the real defeat, where endurance becomes complicity, where loyalty is just a word people use to keep you in a burning building. You are not Cato. Your situation is not ancient Rome. But the principle is the same when someone has made your continued presence conditional on your continued submission, when staying means agreeing to be controlled. Then leaving is not abandonment. It is the last act of integrity you have left. The Stoic way out, I will not pretend this is easy. It is the hardest of the six. But here is the framework. First, ask yourself the question Marcus Aurelius asked every morning from Book 2, Chapter 1 of the Meditations. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Marcus was not being pessimistic. He was being prepared. He was inoculating himself against surprise, so that when people behaved predictably, he would not waste energy on shock and could instead focus on response. Apply this to your situation. If you already know, if you have known for months or years that this person will not change, then stop being surprised when they do not. Your surprise is the leash. Cut it. Second, understand this: you are not responsible for their reaction to your freedom. If they are hurt, that is their judgment to process. If they call you selfish, that is their word, not your identity. If they tell others you abandon them, that is their story, not your truth. Seneca wrote, in his letters, a line that should be carved above the door of every person who has ever stayed too long in a situation that was killing them slowly: non est ad astra mollis et terris via. There is no easy way from the earth to the stars. The path out will be painful. They will make sure of that. But the path of staying, the path of slow erosion, of rehearsed honesty, of waking up every morning in a life that feels like someone else's, that path is not painless either. It is just a different kind of pain, the kind you have gotten used to, the kind that feels normal because it has been there so long. It is not normal. It is damage you have learned to call home. Let us step back now and look at all 6 signs together. Because they are not 6 separate problems. They are 6 faces of one machine. Sign 1, they edit your reality. Sign 2, they remove your witnesses. Sign 3, they create debt you can never repay. Sign 4, they make their emotions your job. Sign 5, they punish you without speaking. Sign 6, they make freedom feel like betrayal. Read them in sequence. This is not a random list. This is an architecture. Each sign builds on the one before it. First, they make you doubt yourself. Then, they remove the people who could confirm your doubts. Then, they create a sense of obligation that prevents you from acting on your doubts. Then, they make you responsible for their feelings so you cannot prioritize your own. Then, they punish you when you try. And finally, they convince you that the cage is your home and the door is a cliff. The Stoics would call this an assault on your hegemonicon, your ruling faculty, your capacity for independent judgment. It is the one thing Epictetus said could never be taken from you. And he was right. It cannot be taken, but it can be surrendered, voluntarily, one small concession at a time, over months and years, until you wake up one morning and realize you have been living someone else's life while paying the rent on your own. The way back is not revenge. It is not confrontation. It is not winning the relationship. The way back is the oldest Stoic practice. There is the daily audit. Every evening, before you sleep, and this is not metaphor, I mean literally. Tonight, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. What did I allow today that I know I should not have? 2. Whose emotions did I carry that were not mine to carry? 3. What did I not say because I was afraid of someone's reaction? Do not judge your answers. Do not plan a revolution. Just notice, because awareness is not the last step, it is the first. And for many of you, it will be the first time in years that you have listened to your own voice without filtering it through someone else's approval. I want to end with something Seneca wrote in Letter 75, one of his most personal, most vulnerable letters. He was writing to Lucilius about the difference between someone who has been cured and someone who is still sick, but finally aware of the illness. There is a great difference between someone whose disease has left them and someone whose disease has lessened. I have not yet fully recovered, but I am no longer sick in the same way. If you recognized yourself in any of what I said tonight, you are not yet free, but you are no longer sick in the same way. You have a name for what is happening. You have a framework for understanding it. And you have 20 centuries of Stoic wisdom confirming what your instinct has been whispering all along. This is not how it is supposed to feel. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire while sick, exhausted, and surrounded by people who wanted him to fail. Epictetus built a school of philosophy on a broken leg. Seneca wrote about the good life while living under the threat of execution by Nero. None of them waited for the perfect moment. None of them waited until it was easy. They started from where they were, with what they had, carrying what they carried. So can you. Not tomorrow. Tonight. With the 3 questions. With the 1 sentence you have been afraid to say. With the quiet, private, unannounced decision to stop handing your inner world to someone who has never taken care of their own. The Stoics did not promise that freedom would be painless. They promised something better, that it would be yours. If this resonated with you tonight, stay with me. Subscribe to this channel. Not because I need the numbers, but because what we are building here is a library. A place you can return to when the noise of the world gets too loud and you need to hear something that is true. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Not everyone will understand, but someone will. And for that one person, tonight might be the night the door opens. I will see you in the next one. Stay calm, stay sharp, stay free.